This is Greg Penglis for Action Radio with Founding Moments, insights into our founding documents, sponsored by Santa Rosa Volunteers here in Santa Rosa County, Florida. Santa Rosa Volunteers is available at their website, SRV1776.com. That's SRV1776.com. Patrick Henry published Anti-Federalist Paper No. 4, June 5th, 1788. He is famous for the quote, "Give me liberty or give me death." Fortunately, he got liberty. Patrick Henry apparently didn't think too much of the new Constitution, and even less, I believe, of John Jay, author of Federalist Paper No. 4. Henry sets the tone of his "if it ain't broke, don't fix it" idea of the Constitution in his opening paragraph, saying, "If we recollect, on last Saturday I made some observations on some of those dangers which these gentlemen would fain persuade us hang over the citizens of this Commonwealth to induce us to change the government and adopt the new plan. Unless there be great and awful dangers, the change is dangerous, and the experiment ought not to be made." Henry pokes fun at John Jay by challenging his basic assumptions that foreign powers will go to war with us if we provoke or upset them when he says, "It is not sufficient to feign mere imaginary dangers. There must be a dreadful reality. The great question between us is, does that reality exist?" That is the real question. If you have to make stuff up to make your case, and the stuff you make up is rather implausible anyway, you don't have much of a case. One could say that making Iraq safe from weapons of mass destruction, or spending 20 years in Afghanistan was necessary to keep them from attacking us, are similar to the arguments John Jay was making in Federalist Paper No. 4. To further bolster his case, Henry states that it is a fact that the people do not wish to change their government. And the last nail in the coffin of wild speculation to justify the new government of the Constitution over fixing the Articles of Confederation, Henry says, "No government can flourish unless it be founded on the affection of the people. Unless gentlemen can be sure that this new system is founded on that ground, they ought to stop their career." As for the Federalists, however, I believe government over as much as possible was their career. I believe the Anti-Federalists saw this as a massive power grab and wanted to tell the people that the Constitution was neither inevitable nor even desirable, but rather represented a fundamental change in the U.S. government into something very different from the Articles of Confederation, without even considering revising the Articles so that they worked better while keeping the same safeguards and basic operation, but rather instead created an entirely new form of government. Patrick Henry says of the Articles of Confederation, "There is no danger of a dismemberment of our country unless a constitution be adopted which will enable the government to plant enemies on our backs. By the Confederation, the rights of territory are secured. No treaty can be made without the consent of 9 states. While the consent of 9 states is necessary to the cession of territory, you are safe." The last paragraph of Anti-Federalist No. 4 is so brilliant, there is nothing more I could possibly add or say. It was a warning in its time for its time. It is also an explanation for much of what is happening in our time. This may be a radical idea, but what if the next Convention of States considered instead a revised Articles of Confederation to replace the Constitution? It's something worth talking about, if for nothing than to find out what the Anti-Federalists held so dear in the Articles and what caused them to be so repelled by the Constitution as proposed. Here is the final paragraph of Anti-Federalist No. 4 by Patrick Henry. The Confederation, this despised government, merits, in my opinion, the highest encomium. It carried us through a long and dangerous war. It rendered us victorious in that bloody conflict with a powerful nation. It has secured us a territory greater than any European monarch possesses. And shall a government which has been thus strong and vigorous be accused of imbecility and abandoned for want of energy? Consider what you are about to do before you part with the government. Take longer time in reckoning things. Revolutions like this have happened in almost every country in Europe. Similar examples are to be found in ancient Greece and ancient Rome, instances of the people losing their liberty by their own carelessness and the ambition of a few. We are cautioned against faction and turbulence. I acknowledge that licentiousness is dangerous and that it ought to be provided against. I acknowledge also the new form of government may effectually prevent it. Yet there is another thing it will effectually do as well. It will oppress and ruin the people. The source for the Federalist Papers is federalistpapers.org. The Anti-Federalist Papers are from selfeducatedamerican.com. This is Greg Penglis for Action Radio with Founding Moments, sponsored by Santa Rosa Volunteers. Their website is SRV176. I always get this wrong. Their website is SRV1776.com. That's SRV1776.com. Please share this report to anyone who needs it.